The first one of these in a long time. White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre was back at it finally yesterday. She was asked who's going to pay for President Biden's student loan bailout. A very simple question, especially when you're talking about $300 billion. That's today's Pierre Pivot.
What we are saying is the work that this administration has done, the work that the Democrats in Congress has done is actually there. And you see that the 1.7 trillion deficit deduction that you see is going to benefit us in being able to do something for the middle class, to do something for the middle class. This is about doing something for people who make less than $125,000.
Well, I'm glad she cleared that up for all of us right there. Now I understand. Thank you, Karine Jean-Pierre, for that clarification. Okay, let's welcome back commentary editor for the Washington Times, Newsmax contributor Kelly Sadler, and attorney and Republican strategist Erin Elmore. How about that? I now know less about what's going on and how we're going to pay for this based on listening to our White House press secretary. Erin, little guy paying for the big guy. And that's based on the simple fact 57% of people with student loan debt also have graduate degrees. And I looked up some of the things that you can get a degree in right now and a master's in. How about this? Toy design, master's in toy design, storytelling, bicycle design, citrus science, brewing and distilling, which would be good, but why not just go get a job or an internship at a brewery?
Right.
You'll learn everything you need to know in like 10 days. Prop making? I didn't even know that was a thing. Imagine that, a master's in prop making, $150K at Stanford or Wellesley College, so you can have a master's in prop making. Erin, you're the lawyer. Is this even legal? Can Joe Biden do this?
You know, there are serious questions whether or not it is legal, but I do believe that there will be injunctions and legal action taking place right away. But unfortunately, the legal process doesn't play out that quickly. So hopefully, with injunctive relief, which means immediate relief, we will know something sooner rather than later. But taking it away from the legal perspective, I went to law school and my parents worked really hard and saved their money to put me through law school. What about them? Do they not get a break? No. What about all the smart kids that went to trade school to become an electrician or a plumber or a firefighter even? They get absolutely nothing. Why is Joe Biden not talking about the staggering cost of going to college, or the fact that university presidents make up to often $8 million a year? Nope. Instead, he is pandering for votes and trying to give people free things. But you know what they say? When it sounds too good to be true, it probably is.
Yeah, it's such a racket, big university, 70 grand to go to some of these colleges. That's just for 1 year. That's not for 4 years. Kelly, Siena New York Times poll, this is in July. Just 1% of 18 to 29-year-olds actually support Joe Biden. So could this be simple? Joe Biden's trying to buy votes?
No, it's absolutely that simple, right? 18 to 29-year-olds voted for Joe Biden. Over 60% of them voted for Joe Biden. And poll after poll shows their support for Joe Biden now cratering by at least 30 points. And we also know that this demographic, 18 to 29-year-olds, are the ones that are going to most benefit from this student relief debt. They just graduated from college. They're in their first job, and they're making less than six figures. That's not to say they're going to make more than six figures later on in life. That's how careers work, right? You start out and you grow your job. But this is definitely a handout to them. It's, hey, you supported me. I'm doing what I told you I was going to do. So going into 2022 and these midterms, please vote Democratic.
I just don't see it. You know, Larry Summers, former Biden economic advisor, was tweeting yesterday about just how stupid this is to do right now. Student loan debt relief is spending that raises demand and increases inflation. That's all I had to read right there. Joe Biden was actually asked a question yesterday. This, by the way, Joe Biden has not held a sit-down interview since February. So more than 6 months, our new commander-in-chief has not sat down for an interview since February. Think about it. Since before the war in Ukraine started, that was the last time Joe Biden sat down for an actual interview. Yesterday, he was asked about who's going to pay for this. Here's his answer. Try to listen. We put subtitles up. I have no idea what he's saying, but here's his response.
Mr. President, is this unfair to people who paid their student loans or chose not to take out loans?
Is it fair to people who, in fact, do not own multi-billion-dollar businesses? If you want these guys to give them all a tax breaks, is that fair? What do you think?
Here's another one, Erin, too. Joe Biden, who's been off for 5 weeks, by the way. I take 5 weeks off. I come back. I am so ready. I'm fresh. No bags under the eyes. Joe Biden, he had COVID for 3. Then he went to Kiowa Island, South Carolina. Then he went to Delaware. So here's Joe Biden yesterday trying to describe his own plan to the American people.
My campaign for president, I made a commitment. I made a commitment that would provide student debt relief. Our approach is why America's economic recovery, and we're going to have people who are there to help get you, help direct you and work you through the process. Now, I understand not everything I'm announcing today is going to make everybody happy.
Erin, take a stab at that.
Okay, well, this is why I didn't watch Narcos, because I'd be squinting and trying to understand the Spanish and do the subtitles. We shouldn't have a president that we can't understand. And this isn't about a language barrier, and I'm not being offensive to Spanish-speaking individuals. I'm trying to learn Spanish myself. It's just hard to understand what you don't know. And what he's doing now is trying to read a teleprompter, and he can't even do that.
Yeah.
He has such declining health and mental capacity. Anyone that disagrees with that is just running cover for the Biden administration. We deserve better as a nation. You know, the liberal elites used to say to me when President Trump was in office, Europeans are laughing at us as Donald Trump runs the country. Now every country in the world is mocking us because we have a weak, feeble leader allegedly running our country.
I am with you. I think this will backfire on Democrats in November. Again, 75 days away from the midterms. All right, Chuck Schumer. I want to take you back to January 2017. Donald Trump hasn't even taken the oath of office yet. Here's Chuck Schumer talking about what happens if you upset the intelligence community. Listen.
You take on the intelligence community, they have 6 ways from Sunday at getting back at you. So even for a practical, supposedly hard-nosed businessman, he's being really dumb to do this.
What do you think the intelligence community would do if they were motivated?
I don't know, but from what I am told, they are very upset with how he has treated them and talked about them.
Would have been too perfect, Kelly, if he said, raid Mar-a-Lago, something like that. We get that affidavit today. What do we see?
I don't think we see much. I think most of it will be redacted. I think the intelligence community likes the position that they're in right now. The DOJ likes the position that they're in, that they can spread these rumors drip by drip to, news outlets that were favorable to them, that spread the Russia collusion hoax. I think Democrats want Donald Trump to be front and center during the midterm elections. That motivates their base to get out to vote. It also hurts the president in the fact that he always seems to be plagued with these ongoing investigations. Now, the GOP base is rallying toward Trump. He's had incredible fundraising in recent days, and everyone has come out to support him because we see what a hoax and what a fraud this is. But I don't expect any watershed moment today with the release of the affidavit.
Yeah, again, 12 noon Eastern time today. We will get that, and we will be covering that throughout the day here on Newsmax. Erin, Elmore, Kelly Sadler, good stuff today. Thank you very much. Enjoyed it.
Thank you.
We'll do it again soon, as they say.